Kyle Rittenhouse will stay in Illinois for now. Today, a judge delayed his extradition hearing until September 25th. Rittenhouse is the 17-year-old charged in connection with the shooting that killed 2 people and critically injured another in Kenosha, Wisconsin this week. NBC News reporter Shaquille Brewster joins me now from Kenosha. Shaq, what happened today? Why did the judge delay Rittenhouse's extradition hearing?
Well, Allison, it was a hearing that lasted just about 1 minute. It was a virtual hearing when we didn't even see Rittenhouse appear in that hearing. It was a hearing that was live streamed. And essentially what happened was his attorneys asked for more time. They said he's acquiring new counsel. He's trying to figure things out. And they asked for more time for any decision on extradition to be made. This was an extradition hearing. We know that Rittenhouse is from Antioch, Illinois, which is about 30 minutes away from where we are right now. He drove up to Kenosha on Tuesday with his firearm, and he is accused of shooting and killing 2 of those protesters, injuring another one. And this is a hearing to determine whether or not he will go from Illinois to Kenosha to be tried here. We know he's facing 6 counts right now, including reckless endangerment, including intentional homicide, including possession of a deadly weapon. His attorneys say that he was essentially acting in self-defense, calling it a classic self-defense charge or self-defense case. But it's a matter of time. We'll see what exactly happens. We'll know that we'll see him in court on September 25th, just about 30 days from now, as that hearing has been postponed. Allison?
Shaq, let's talk about Jacob Blake. His father says he is handcuffed to his hospital bed while he is currently paralyzed. I don't know how else to ask this, but why on earth is a paralyzed man in handcuffs in the hospital? And do you have a better understanding of why police were trying to detain him in the first place before he was shot?
Well, to your second question, no, we don't have a better understanding of why police were trying to detain him. We have that statement from the Attorney General. The state is running this investigation, and they say that officers arrived, they tried to arrest him, and 2 officers unsuccessfully tried to tase him, but they did not answer the question of why he was subject to arrest initially. As for the detail from his father that he's being shackled to his hospital bed, well, the police chief just confirmed that detail. He said that he didn't have much to provide, but he said that currently Mr. Blake is being held by an outside law enforcement agency. He said that it's in connection to an outstanding warrant that was issued in July that was connected to a 3rd-degree sexual assault charge. Now, we have reached out to Mr. Blake's attorney to see what is the status of that warrant. There is reporting out there suggesting that those warrants have shifted or there's been some sort of update with that. We were working to confirm that. But that was all the police chief was able to say. And in addition to that, the police chief added that he did not know whether or not the officers, when they pulled up and responded to that call on Sunday night before the shooting, whether or not those officers were aware of the warrant. That's part of the state investigation, and that's where where Kenosha's police chief is kind of passing this off to, but now giving us that new detail. Allison?
Shaq, how is Blake doing today? I know his father spoke at the march in Washington, D.C. What's the latest on his condition and how he's doing?
His father is in Washington, D.C. right now. We actually got to catch up with him. Our Garrett Hake interviewed him as he was walking up before his speech. And one thing to note, he said while his son is doing better, he is in the hospital, he is still holding on and fighting for his life. Listen to a little bit of the interview earlier today from D.C.
But my son is paralyzed from the waist down. We don't know if he'll be paralyzed for the rest of his life or until the swelling. But I don't care. He grabbed my hand when I went into the hospital. He was squinting. And I said, "What's wrong, man? You in pain?" And he said, "No, I thought I was hallucinating." And he grabbed my hand and he just wept.
So you hear his father explaining or revisiting the encounter he had with his own son. We know that he was here just a couple of days ago and got to have that experience with him in the hospital. Allison?
Shaq, I just can't stop shaking my head because I can't understand how a man who is in tears from pain, who is paralyzed, is attached to the hospital bed. I know we need to move on from this one, but it does not make sense to me at all. It borders on sounding inhuman. I know today we also got some new information. Today, the Wisconsin DOJ identifying the other officers who were involved in Blake's shooting. What other information do you have?
That's right. They gave a few more details about the exact exchange and what happened before the shooting, and they also detailed the officers involved. We already knew about Officer Rustin Chesky. He was the one who fired the 7 shots into the back of Mr. Blake. That is confirmed by the state DOJ. But what they say in the new detail that we received is that right before the shooting, as per officers arrived, Mr. Chesky or Officer Chesky also tried to tase Mr. Blake, and that was an unsuccessful attempt to tase him. There was another officer on the scene, Officer Vincent Arenas, who also fired his taser in that initial exchange, also fired it unsuccessfully. And then we also have the name of Officer Brittany Marinick. She just joined the force back in January. Her role in the situation is not exactly clear. I know there's some video from that initial video that we saw that sparked everything. There's video showing her helping out and assisting Mr. Blake after the shooting. But yes, we now have a fuller picture of what happened, answering those or answers to those basic questions that we've been asking since the start of this, since Sunday night, where the real last statement that we got was on that Sunday night. Allison?
Shaq, I know we need to let you go, but quick question before you do. What are the concerns? Yeah. Are there any about protests or violence or anything tonight and heading into the weekend?
Well, I'll say the protests for the past 2 nights have been largely peaceful. That is not to say that there haven't been arrests. One of the main things that we've been seeing from law enforcement is they pulled up the curfew. So instead of it being at 8 p.m., it is now at 7 p.m. And in doing that, they explained the reason they did that is to allow arrests to happen in daylight, essentially. And one of the arrests have already gone viral. It was the arrest of folks in a black van and a bread truck. And they said they were with a food service, a food delivery service. Well, officers arrested 9 individuals after they were seen filling up individual gas tanks or gas canisters inside the vehicle. Officers say they found illegal fireworks, they found gas masks, and they found helmets. So officers are saying that is an example of what they can do now that they have an earlier curfew time. In addition to that, we also have the mobilization of the National Guard that is still here. 3 other states contributing to the efforts here in Wisconsin, contributing to the National Guard mission, still under the National Guard command, so still under state control. But now you have more reinforcements as we head into the weekend. We do expect protests to continue as they have been happening every night. Again, last 2 nights have been largely peaceful, so we expect that to happen through the weekend as people continue to reflect on and continue to react to the shooting of Mr. Blake. Allison?
All right, Shaq, thank you so much, and thanks for all of your great coverage from Kenosha throughout the week.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.